when you start making money, you ain't got time to be around losers, people that are just negative or people that are going the opposite way. I have no tolerance.
Just be quiet, nigga.
Whether I'm in business with these people or doing with them or not, I can't even be around people that just don't give up. They don't care. They just go into life, not trying. They have the ability to try. That's the really pissing me off. I've been people that work for me. Chasing women or whatever, chasing men or whatever. You know, their priorities aren't in order. The kids ain't living like they should. They just, I don't like being around people that don't. They're going through life with just the bare necessities and not really trying. And they have the ability to try. If somebody doesn't have the ability and a nice person, I can tolerate them, like you.
How do you balance staying financially secure while also enjoying life? Is it much of a calculation in your brain anymore? Like you budget a certain amount for certain things?
I'm not a wasteful person. It's just like when I took my kid this weekend for his graduation present to the Bahamas. I could have stuck us in the van and made him drive 4 hours to Fort Lauderdale. Okay, I could have done that. And I would have saved, whatever,
few grand.
$5 grand, $2,500 there. Okay, I'd send the plane back. I don't pay to keep it there. Whatever. Anyway, I would have saved the $5 grand if I would have made him drive the van, and he would have done it, and he would have been happy. But he splurged. But for me, $5 grand is not going to make or break me. It made our life easier. Impressed him, impressed his friends. It made us feel like it was special, and it was definitely convenient. So, I don't waste money. I do things in moderation. You live your life in moderation. And then sometimes, I correct myself. I had a $500,000 Phantom sitting in the garage. And when the rates were going up, and I'm saying, I have $500,000 sitting in the garage. I barely even used the goddamn car. All right, I went through the whole car phase, so I sold it. 500 grand, sitting in the bank at that time was 5%, even in a money market account. That's a couple of grand a month. I don't know. I just like doing what's practical and logical. That's the way I try to live my life. Do I live in a $30 million house? Hopefully it's $30 million. I don't know, the market right now is going down. But Florida, you get a weird sense of buyers. It's different when you have a high-end house in Florida. There's always people with money who want to come to Florida because if you homestead it, they can't take it away from you. The bank can, the IRS can, but nobody else can.
Is there ever a price tag for you that just doesn't make any sense or just out of your league where you just wouldn't even consider it?
Like what?
Could just be any...
Like a boat?
Sure.
I mean, yeah, I would not go out. Like, I want to buy another boat. I'm selling mine right now. You need to buy my boat. You know that.
I know you need those losses. So if I buy it low enough...
It's not that... You keep mixing personal with taxes.
No, I think you could charter it
By the day.
But then it's now an investment.
Make sure you hit that
Depreciate it.
subscribe. Be going at it every day with Still with y'all.
You do that when you buy it, I think, after already being in business. We'll talk about that.
You can transfer it to a Montana LLC for the purposes of charter.
Listen, you guys can come up with all you do.
Yes, sir.
I don't do the election. You know why?
I like this up, man.
Ain't nobody IRS will never fuck with me. They got nothing to fuck me on. So I don't
Just gonna show y'all that discipline
is
is all you need.
It's plain clear cut. You know why? Because it's the tax system that made me who I was today. If it wasn't for the 1031, there is no possible way I would have grown to the level I've grown to. No way. The tax system that we have pushed me to never touch the money and roll it into the next deal and defer the tax, and forced me to grow.
How much do you think you'd have if you couldn't utilize the 1031?
I mean, I know right now, if I was to say I'm going to sell everything and just pay the tax bill, I'd probably owe about $50 million. It's fine. And it's definitely a possibility I consider sometimes, but I'm not going to do the whole 50 on 1031 some. I don't know, I might pay. I mean, I'd sell. It's a combination of a lot of scenarios. You have to, when you're managing a portfolio and you're managing your wealth, it's a job. And you're constantly thinking about what's the right move to make. You have to do your homework. You got to sit down, you got to calculate. You You got to calculate the tax ramifications on it. You got to calculate the appreciation, recapture depreciation, cash flow. There's a lot of things you have to consider before you decide to buy or sell a property.
What do you say to the people who want to get rid of the 1031 exchange?
They're absolutely out of their crazy mind, because the 1031 is what capitalism is all about. All right? It pushes you to grow. Okay? It's making you want to do more. Do you know, by 1031 and enforcing me, or not forcing me, but pushing me to buy more materials I'm buying, more jobs I'm creating, more everything. It's just growth. Okay? And that's how a person can grow on a personal level. Like, it's a ticket to growth. You know, without the banks and without the 1031, I would be a garbage man today.
Do you think that capitalism has gone too far? That maybe some people are getting really, really, really wealthy and other people are just getting left behind?
Listen, if people are getting wealthy legally, that's what it's all about. They're the ones putting forth the effort. They're the ones that are putting out the risk. You know, they're taking the risk. You know, so how can you knock somebody? Listen, I'm sorry, but I believe, because of the life I've lived, that everybody can try. They may not succeed as well as I did, but they can better their life. Okay? When you can go out and anybody can take one course and one test for what? A few $100 and get a license, and then get a loan from FHA and only have to put 0.5% down because your license could, or 3.5%. You can go out and buy a fourplex and put 3.5% down, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we have these types of tools in our country that, you know, enable you to get ahead, and you should take advantage of them.
Now, what about the theory that wealth inequality, as it grows to a certain point, can't sustain itself, and you do get just a demise of the entire country when it becomes so unsustainable between the rich and poor? That overall countries do better when it's a little closer.
We've been rich and poor. So now more people are rich? Is that what you're saying?
More people are rich, and
Isn't
more,
that better?
more people
I've never seen unhappy people being rich.
You have the rich extremes,
Well, a couple cuckoos,
more extreme,
Hit
and
those
the poor
Burpees
more,
with
basically.
Further.
It's becoming such
Listen,
a bigger divide.
there's plenty of jobs out there for people. You know, it's the individual, I think, that really keeps them down and keeps them poor. It's them. They need to train their brain to do positive things that are going to make their life financially more secure. Okay? A lot of people just don't have the mindset. They're worried about stupid. Okay, or they get hooked on drugs, or they get hooked on gambling, or they get hooked on alcohol, or they're worried about keeping up with their Joneses and their friends. You know, people need to focus on themselves. Forget about the rest of the world. Who cares what somebody's doing? Who cares? What are you doing? What do you got? That's what matters. You got to get a plan for your life, and everybody's got a different life. You know, I never went one day to high school, okay? But I always knew that if an opportunity came my way, I'm going to take it. And that's what I did. I just kept taking opportunities and maybe going a little further than the average person wanted to go.
So what's holding so many people back?
Mentality.
Or what's causing that mentality, do you think?
I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, you know, could it be they're spending too much time worried about, you know, Instagrams and all this online now? I don't know, but a lot of people online making money. So there's two stories, two sides to everything. It's the individual. It's their time management. What are you doing with your time? Did you accomplish anything positive today? Okay? Let me tell you something. I'll get depressed and pissed at myself if a whole day goes by and I feel like I didn't do enough that I could have or should have, or, you know, I didn't do enough. Okay? I need to prove to myself. You know, I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking about, okay, I got this deal in contract. Is there anything I need to do on that deal? Do I need to call a broker? Do I need to call a lawyer? Do I need to find out what's going on? Do I need to get repairs done over here? What do I need to do? All right, you got to keep your brain focused on what you can do and what accomplishments you can make, and then you just move on to the next thing. And next thing you know, you keep attacking things, you keep knocking things out. And next thing you know, then you look for more opportunities because you took care of the stuff you had to do.
Where do you think lack of motivation comes from? Like all of those friends that you had when you were a kid and you were growing up poor, you're probably surrounded by a bunch of other people that were broke, and maybe they went in a different direction. Did you notice any strong distinctions?
The problem where I grew up was they had the ability, they had the intelligence even though they weren't educated. I grew up on the streets, but they just didn't know how to leave that world and apply the energy.
Can you teach me how to get buff?
The talents they had.
Bro, just do these workouts,
bro.
bro.
From the street, they didn't know how
Get
to
on the ground
in a legitimate way.
every day, do 100 push-ups.
They would have taken the effort and been a little more patient and put it towards something positive and
eat good.
Then they would have been.
You know what I'm saying? Get you some rest.
I ran into a guy.
Anybody can get swole or get in shape.
He made me a lot of money. He made himself a lot of money. I won't say his name, but he was a Cuban guy from Miami. This guy just had a personality.
If you need one-on-one help, though,
DM
me on my Instagram. You can talk about it or email me. Email it's in my YouTube channel description.
Great times, and he was bringing people buyers from Miami, and I was buying out of Orlando. And he was just finding buyers, doctors, these people, and selling deals, and he was getting me really good prices. And I was cutting them in with good commissions. And then I think I even let him come in as a partner once. And he was great about dealing with people and getting, but he liked to party. I said, why aren't you here? You should be running this building. Let's get these units turned over. Let's get the carpet guy in here. Let's get get on top of the rents we got to collect. What are you doing? Oh, he's having a good time in Miami. With the girls and the booze and the boats, and that's what he wanted to do. And he always hustled and made a good life, enough of living, but he never made what he could have been. He could have been major.
When you're in the thick of a project, Harbor Freight is the place that always comes in handy. Whether you're picking up something for your pickup truck or a power tool for your project, at Harbor Freight, your dollar always goes further. And these days, when everything seems to cost more, you can take pride in knowing that you get hard-working tools at hard-working prices. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Does it frustrate you to see that people can't live up to their...
It doesn't frustrate me. I just know that when you show me that you're not on the same road as I'm on, then I gotta get off the road. Or you gotta get off, whatever. I mean, the way I live is, listen, if I feel you're a productive person and you're positive to be in my world, then I'll give you the shirt off my back, I'll work with you. Listen, I love to help people. I mean, that's been, honestly, all right, it may sound corny, but put it this way, money can't buy it. I'm not going to say it's better than money, but money can't buy the satisfaction I get when I take somebody and help them go to another level or better their life. I've had some serious stories of people personally coming to my events and telling me, I've had like guys that I know had a wicked past, a very bad past, or they were in the game, or gangbangers, whatever you want to call them, and they tell me this story because of watching me and knowing my story and doing what I did, and they now take care of the kids, and now they're not getting in trouble, and now they're they feel so good about themselves that they'd be dead or in jail like I was going to be. If I didn't leave New York, I would be dead right now, guaranteed, or rotting away in jail if I was lucky. I mean, it's a mentality. You gotta want it. You gotta want a good life. We're not here that long. Listen, who knows? 10 years from now, 20 years from now, I probably won't even be here. Okay, it's gonna be over. So, make the most of it, and the people that you brought into this world while you're here. That's what you should do. And then maybe, my kids will remember me, or my grandkids will remember me and say, hey, yeah, I'm living good because, my father did something when he was here. He made it happen. And then we made it, and now we're making it happen. And we all lived our life on this planet, in peace and happiness and, enjoyed it.
Do you ever have concerns that maybe a few generations down they just start wasting the money.
I mean, you know, they've said that about every generation. You know, they say in the 60s, they said the 60s generation sucked, and they said the 70s sucked. But meanwhile, listen, you're either a loser or you're a winner. It's up to you. You can be whatever you want to be. You have the power. All right, you wake up in the morning, what the are you going to do? That's the question. Do you know what you're doing? Are you doing something smart? Are you doing something that's going to lead to a better life? You know, are you helping anybody?